Hey, hey, hey. Happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, shockingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard, everyone. Tonight is Thursday, February 12th, 2026. This is live show 1287. It is also going to mark the final, for the foreseeable future, live first look on the Gaming Gang channel. So there is that. So starting on Tuesday, we are going to be doing the tabletop role-playing game news of the day and probably a little bit of chat with the folks hanging out with me live. So that will be the format going forward. We'll see how it goes. I did that prior to starting to share live first looks. It's about an hour long. That'll be the show length for the most part. Anyway, if you're not overly familiar with this show, let me point out it's super, super casual. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop role-playing game news and other tabletop games on occasion. And tonight, we are actually going to be taking a first look at the very well-received Oz, a fantasy role-playing setting from author Andrew Kolb and Andrew's McMeel Publishing. And then as an extra bonus, we're going to dive on into these Baldur's Gate treasure packs from Sirius Dice. So these include a dice bag, a limited edition 20-sided die. It's an oversized 20-sided die, I believe. And I believe an ability coin or a skill coin. So we're going to find out. We're going to take a peek at these after we dive on into Oz. Very nice. So, once again, super casual around here. We're not involved in rocket surgery or anything along those lines. Just kicking back, having some fun. Now, of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for our latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on YouTube. We have quite a lot of written reviews on thegaminggang.com. Never see the light of day here on the channel because they are written reviews. So there is that. And of course, you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Then, of course, because this is a live show, there is chat available. Now, you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least an hour before you can take part in chat. But if you check off that box and you want to say howdy, maybe get a question, comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my absolute best to respond. First out the gate tonight is Semper Buffo. Kevin King's with us, as is Mike. Kathy Evans, the madman. J-Man is with us, and I will take a guess, maybe the lovely and talented Miss Sarah D., another of our chat moderators, alongside the madman, though she lurks in the shadows with her glittery banhammer, almost like Bela Lugosi in Plan 9 from Outer Space. I said almost like. I didn't say like. Jack Hanks is with us, as is Danny Gable. So welcome, everybody. So let's jump on into the news because we got a big show ahead of us tonight. Like I said, we're going to take a look at Oz, and then we're going to look at those Sirius Dice treasure packs, which are branded Baldur's Gate. There is a new box set for Fallout Factions, which is on the horizon from Modiphius Entertainment. I've got to scoop on Battle for Boston. At the heart of the Commonwealth lies Boston, a city caught in a power struggle between the secretive Institute with their unmatched technology and the military might of the Brotherhood of Steel. In Fallout Factions Battle for Boston, players will lead their own crew through the ruins of Boston, fighting for every street to control the city and watching them grow and change with every fight. Fallout Factions is a 2-player miniature skirmish game from Modiphius. This will contain everything you need to play the game, because this starter set allows players to hit the ground running with enough miniatures to build 2 crews and take the fight to their friends. This box set includes 20 32mm scale high-quality multi-part hard plastic miniatures with optional parts, 30mm and 40mm bases. Now, these do require assembly, and they are supplied unpainted. The Battle for Boston will ship in May. Now, you can pre-order right now for $135. You will also receive a special McCready mini. You might, I think isn't it John McCready? Isn't the character? It's been so long since I played Fallout. I want to say it's John McCready, because he's a kid in like the first Fallout, and then he's an adult in Fallout 3, and then in Fallout 4, is it New Vegas that he pops up again? Maybe it's not Fallout 3. Anyway, regardless, Fallout 4, he's actually available as a companion to the Soul Survivor. Yes. So you will get that miniature free if you pre-order now. Cool. Cool deal. Nice to see Fallout Factions getting some expansion there, because it's, I don't necessarily understand the difference between Fallout Factions and Fallout, Wasteland Warfare. I think Wasteland Warfare is a bit crunchier in its mechanics. Although I could be absolutely incorrect, but I'll tell you what, I guarantee you can use the miniatures from both games in either one. So you've got that. Ben Foster is joining us in chat. Welcome aboard. On to our next news piece. The 4th edition of the Mutants and Masterminds superhero role-playing game is up on Kickstarter for Green Ronin Publishing. I've got the latest. Mutants and Masterminds 4th edition is the superhero tabletop role-playing game you need in your life. Make the hero you always wanted to play with its powerful character and extra effort to push your character and the story to new heights. Safeguard the world from diabolical supervillains, alien invasions, rampaging monsters, would-be conquerors, and more sinister schemers. Sounds like me. Now is a time for heroes. Mutants and Masterminds players have been saving the world since 2002. Really? I thought it was earlier than that. I'm a little surprised. The 3rd edition of the game, published in 2011, has been the longest running by far, but was due for a refresh and an update. And that's just what this new and improved 4th edition offers. It's a great place for new players to jump on while offering veteran players the next evolution of the game system. Now, there is a Kickstarter video. It's about 3 minutes in length. So let's give it a peek.
System alert. Increased metahuman power signatures have been detected. Incursions have increased substantially across all vectors. Hero point consumption is spiking. Analysis complete. The causal force has been identified. The 4th edition of the Mutants and Masterminds superhero role-playing game is now funding on Kickstarter. Historical data recovered. For 20 years, 3rd edition Mutants and Masterminds generated tens of thousands of superpowered metahumans, from street vigilantes to beings of immense cosmic power, their conflicts spreading dimension by dimension, 20-sided dice arbitrating the outcome. Data shows that 4th edition maintains the D20 core protocol, but the new edition represents a synthesis of decades of play and an impossible compilation of user feedback. Skills, advantages, and powers have been streamlined for continuous operation. No interruptions for rule consultations. Hero generation protocols. 15 archetypes enable full team deployment in minutes via selection menus or random rolls. Power level system maintains balance of custom team configurations. The primary system component is the Mutants and Masterminds Heroes Handbook. A single volume contains everything required to create, run, and sustain a fully realized Mutants and Masterminds campaign. Compilation successful. Campaign rewards include the Mutants and Masterminds Heroes Handbook. The Heroes Handbook is available in both print and PDF format, though it should be noted that when the print version is purchased, the PDF is included for free. The Mutants and Masterminds Game Master's Kit. This kit is a key accessory that includes a hardback GM screen, reference cards, and a Game Master's journal for vital notes and reminders. Further add-on enhancements identified. The Mutants and Masterminds 4th edition condition cards include 5 cards for each common condition, 2 cards for each uncommon condition, and 25 hit cards. That's a total of 137 cards, enough to support a GM and up to 5 players. Hero Point Tokens. These premium metal tokens are used to help track the number of hero points a player has left. Reaction Point Tokens are a new feature of 4th edition. These premium tokens are all the GM needs to see at a glance if a hero has used their reaction point for that turn. Our threat analysis is complete. Now, to address the heartbeat on the line. I know you can hear me. I've been tracking your presence from the moment I allowed you to tap in. The world as you know it has changed. If it is your intention to survive, then pledge the Mutants and Masterminds 4th edition Kickstarter campaign today. But make haste and be sure to tell your friends before it's too late.
The project for Mutants and Masterminds 4E is nearing the 300% funding mark. You can reserve a copy of the 256-page hardcover Heroes Handbook and GM's Kit, plus their PDFs, for an $80 pledge. If you want to get them simply in PDF, you can do so for a $40 pledge through March 5th. Expected fulfillment on the physical items is expected to be this November, with the PDFs to arrive prior to that in September. So nice to see Mutants and Masterminds getting a new edition. Pretty cool. I gotta be honest, as far as the superhero role-playing games out there, I know you've got Champions, Mutants and Masterminds, Villains and Vigilantes is what we started off with, because I got to be honest, I think that was the first superhero game, because that came out when I was in high school. And there's another one, what is it called? Powers and Paragons, which came out a few years ago, about 5 years ago or so. I think there's quite a bit for that as well. So you got a few to choose from. And then, of course, if you want the Marvel Universe, you can dive right on into the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game as well. All right, we got quite a few people popping on into chat. We've got No Limelight Productions, Tessie Trekkie, DB is also popping on in alongside W Forge. So it looks like our chat is rocking and rolling. DB says, sounds like I have a cold. Not that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of anything wrong. I mean, I'm not stuffed up or anything, so I don't know. Danny Gable said helium. No, I'm not talking like this. I don't know. Ben Foster also points out that Fallout Factions is more of a traditional miniature skirmish game a la Necromunda, and Wasteland Warfare is crunchier with more proprietary resolution components. All right, there you go. Fire Fritter is also popped on into chat. Welcome. DB said they popped in during the robot voice. What do you think? I was going to narrate that video? All right, a new bundle of holding is dropped. It features the Neon City Overdrive cyberpunk role-playing game from Peril Planet, and I've got the deets on the deal. Adventure. Bundle of Holding has revised the May 2022 Neon City Overdrive bundle, featuring the fast-playing cyberpunk tabletop role-playing game, well, you guessed it, Neon City Overdrive from Peril Planet. Lightweight, quick playing, and amazingly adaptive. It's based on FU. Oh, what? Freeform universal role-playing game with elements inspired by Fate and Blades in the Dark. Neon City Overdrive smoothly handles gritty near-future action. Whether your trademark is Arcology Brat, Gene-Farmed, Metroplexer, Joyrider, or Gutter Scum, you can be a code slinger, jammer, infiltrator, grifter, or even a paladin. With any kind of skins, cyberware, edges, and gear you can think of. What matters is your drive, why you keep hitting the streets, throwing yourself into danger, and pushing through the hard stuff. Neon City Overdrive plays fast and smooth with an easy dice pool system and mission-based gameplay based on the rule of cool. Concept, objective, obstacle, link. You can define threats, enemies on the spot during play, and use clocks, a la Blades in the Dark, to build stress and complications. If their mission succeeds, players cyberpunks can earn leverage they can spend on healing, experience, or, hey, a new body. The definitive way to escape the city and retire to a rich orbital. This revived May 2022 bundle once again gives you the entire Neon City line for an unbeatable bargain price. For just $5.95, you'll get all 4 titles in this offer's Neon Collection, which has a retail value of $26.50 as DRM-free PDFs, including the complete Neon City Overdrive core book and all 3 supplements, the Grid, Skin Jobs, and Scions. These savings run through March 2nd. And you can get the entire line for half of, a little more than a half of what you would pay just for the PDF of the core rules. So that's a pretty sweet deal. And if you're running, say, Cyberpunk Red, I'm sure there's things that you can mine for ideas to port out over. We talk about this all the time. Game masters out there cribbing from other games. At least I've done it for decades. I know a lot of other people do as well. All right, moving right along. Now available in print from Gallant Knight Games comes the Blue Planet Recontact Player's Guide. I've got the skinny. The planet, a water world, home to a savage ecology and awash in the mystery of an ancient alien past. The human race, desperate and dying on a famine-ravaged Earth, reaching hungrily for the once-abandoned colony world and the hope of ultimate survival. The Long John, hidden below the ocean floor, a priceless, enigmatic ore that holds the key to human DNA and the promise of immortality. The colony, transformed into a lawless frontier as mining corporations wage brutal war and colonists fight for the survival of their adopted world. The Nereids, unfathomable and powerful, these enigmatic beings defend a primal heritage as ancient and mysterious as the planet's darkest waters. The game, a compelling role-playing game journey into humanity's precarious future on a distant water world where political unrest and a hungry alien ecology threaten the nascent colony, a planet where GEO marshals struggle to maintain the peace. Incorporate mercenaries wage amphibious range wars, and native insurgents fight for their adopted home. A frontier where human desperation and corporate greed ravage an uncanny ecology, threatening to plunge humanity into war of survival with an ancient alien legacy. Now, it's important to keep in mind, this is the player's guide. You also do need the moderator's book in order to play Blue Planet Recontact. Just want to let you know that. Now, this 324-page hardcover with PDF can be had for $69.99 by way of DriveThruRPG. If you want to grab just the PDF alone, you can do so for $24.99. No Limelight Productions asks, Blue Planet's released? Didn't this used to be for Savage Worlds? Wasn't Blue Planet for Savage Worlds originally? I know the Madman can probably answer that for us. But I could have swore that Blue Planet had been a Savage Worlds setting. Then again, of course, I could be completely out of my mind. But I know Blue Planet was around previously, and it was not through Gallant Knight Games. So I don't know. But I had also heard that it was a really interesting setting. The other thing I'm curious about is whether or not this actually uses the Tiny D6 system. I don't think it does. Even though that's kind of Gallant Knight Games' core rules system, I don't think it does. So I'm kind of curious. No Limelight Production says, I'm not sure if it's for Savage Worlds. No, I'm not saying this is for Savage Worlds. I'm saying Blue Planet has been around before. There was a role-playing game that was out called Blue Planet. And that's why I think this is called Blue Planet Recontact, because it's a new version of that setting. So there is that. But No Limelight Production says they have been following this through its Kickstarter. It is out. It is now available. Both the moderator book and the player's guide are out. You can purchase it by way of DriveThruRPG. So there is that. I got to be honest, I don't think you can buy it from Gallant Knight Games. You got to go through DriveThruRPG, which is fine. I'm just pointing it out. But this looks good. Artwork looks sharp. Could be pretty wild. I know some people are probably balking at the $70 price tag, but it is a 324-page hardcover. So there is that. Something else that's also available in print and PDF, also by way of DriveThruRPG, is The Halls of Ardenvoul, The Thicket, from Expeditious Retreat Press. Here's what I know. The green fanged kobolds have existed on the fringes of the human settlements of northern Burdock Valleys. I should say Burdock's Valley, not Burdock Valleys. Like it's more than one valley. No, it's only one valley, Jeff. For decades, secure in the strange thorny thicket surrounding the Broken Knob. Until recently, they were content to hunt, forage, and generally avoid human contact. But reports of open assaults on merchants, caravans, and travelers using the road from Gosterwick to Deepton are mounting. The formerly timid kobolds seem to have become aggressive and hostile. Why? Eusebia, the Architonian, I think that's how it's pronounced, Thesmothite in Gosterwick, I'm taking a guess that's like the mayor or something, has had enough. She has quietly let it be known that she is willing to fund an expedition to cleanse the thicket of this scourge once and for all, calling all murder hobos, I guess. Should be easy work. After all, how much trouble can kobolds pose? This adventure presents the first of a series of 4 set in Burdock's Valley, close by the mega dungeon of Ardenvool in the world of Magae. I think that's how it's pronounced. Magae. Magae. Well, not directly linked to Ardenvool itself, the four provide a complement to adventures set in that legendary locale. Prior purchase of the Halls of Ardenvool is not strictly necessary to run any of these modules, although full details of some of the setting is best acquired in that product. Conversely, some thematic elements, especially in, I believe, the third adventure, will be familiar to seasoned explorers of the halls. By and large, though, the material here is new and fresh. Each of the modules contains a complete self-contained adventure. That said, the four are loosely linked via an optional overarching meta hook, such they could easily be linked together to form a single adventure arc. The 56-page softcover can be had over at DriveThruRPG for $25. If you want to grab just the PDF, you can do so for $15. All right, complete transparency. The image you're seeing right now and the cover are from the thicket. The other three images are actually from the halls of Ardenvool. So, because all I could find was the cover and the one image. So I was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, I like to have 5 images for my news pieces. The Madman says, sounds like people have converted the original to Savage Worlds rules quite a number of years ago. Right, I was going to say, it was a while back. I do remember that. So anyway, I got to be honest, I would love to check out the Halls of Ardenvool. Expeditious Retreat Press has been pretty busy lately, to be honest. Nice. Very, very nice. All right, so that is the news for tonight. Remember, starting on Tuesday, the show is going to focus mainly on the latest tabletop role-playing game news of the day. We'll also talk about other sorts of games, like I talked about miniatures from Modiphius Entertainment to kick off the news tonight. But no more live first looks. In case you're tuning in a little late or maybe you haven't been watching lately, just letting you know. So the stream isn't going anywhere. The format's just going to go back to what it used to be. So there's that. Tessie Trekkie says, Blue Planet Recontact is released, and I love it. And kobolds are deadly when you remember they're only 2 feet tall. So are their warrens, and almost all normal-sized adventurers will get made to crawl. Yes. That is very, very true. And kobolds tend to be different than, say, goblins, because kobolds actually cooperate with each other. So they will use tactics, where for most role-playing games, goblins are very self-serving. So they don't tend to work together very well. Chris Lundgren's joining us in chat. Good to see you again, Chris. Welcome. And as the Madman points out, Madman say hello to Chris, his cockatiel, and Chris's wife. I almost said, and his wife, but I didn't want anybody to think maybe I was talking about the cockatiel's wife. I'm being honest. J-Man says, Gaming Gang restructure. One other thing I need to always remind people, the outlet is the Gaming Gang, not Gaming Gang. So I'm just telling you, because I have heard people say, yeah, I've tried to go to your website and there is no website. I'm like, yeah, there is. thegaminggang.com. They're like, oh, yeah, I just went to gaminggang.com and your website wasn't there. And I'm like, no, because it's not Gaming Gang. I'm just saying. Anyway, so that is the news for tonight. Of course, I did mention DriveThruRPG a few times. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you're going to visit DriveThruRPG, Storyteller's Vault, Dungeon Masters Guild, Wargame Vault, any of the various One Bookshelf sites, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Not Gaming Gang, thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banners. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get 5% of that sale. And all that really does add up on a monthly basis to keep thegaminggang.com around. Hooray. If you like the video, by all means, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang if you haven't already, too. So don't forget to do that. Anyway, but if you like the video, if you dig the channel, if you find the Gaming Gang to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, there are a couple of other ways you can support the outlet. First, by making a one-time donation by way of PayPal. Hell, you can buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. Oh, that's lovely. You can also become a monthly member of our Patreon, and you will find links in the show notes. Also down in those show notes, you're going to find an invite link to our Discord server. It's absolutely free to sign up. So be sure to hang with the gang over on Discord. Yay. So we're going to dive on in. We're going to be taking a look at Oz, a fantasy role-playing setting for 5e in a few moments. Then after that, we're going to dive on in. I have 5 of these. So we're going to crack these open. These are the Baldur's Gate treasure packs from Sirius Dice. So we're going to take a look at these. The dice have various rarities as well. So we're going to check that out. But before we do, I also want to announce who the winner is for my Starfinder 2nd Edition Alien Core Pocket Edition. You may recall I mentioned I was giving this away during the Paizo preview on Tuesday's show. And the winner is Cal Ripken's Glove. That is the nickname. Cal Ripken's Glove. I thought that was kind of funny, to be honest. I was like, oh, okay. All right, so all you need to do is you need to email Jeff McAleer at thegaminggang.com from your Gmail account that's associated with your YouTube nickname, and just give me the address on where I should send your pocket edition of Alien Core. Very nice. I see Mark Hawkswell is also joining us. Said, cool, some mystery unpacking. Yes, these are blind packs. So we will see what's going on with those. All right. So tonight we're going to dive on in. We're going to take a look at Oz, a fantasy role-playing setting from author Andrew Kolb and Andrew's McMeel Publishing in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Now, from Milton Bradley, it's...
Go! You take a card and put it in a rack. If you don't want it, put it back. Very first player to make a run says... Go! What fun!
That's Racco, Milton Bradley's great card game for 2, 3, or 4 players of any age. Get...
Go! What fun!
And here's another great fun game from Milton Bradley.
Easy money, easy money. You buy some land and houses too. You make it rich from the rent, or you'll be flat broke when the mortgage is due. Either way, it's fun when you play. Easy money, easy money.
Racco. Two good reasons that
Milton Bradley makes the best games in the world.
Get Racco.
And easy money from MB.
Let's go up to the surface for some Wilkins coffee.
I never touched the stuff. Oh.
You should. It's a whale of a coffee.
Beechnut has a new gum, Beechnut Fancy Fruit. Fancy that. Beechnut has a new gum, Beechnut Fancy Fruit.
Fancy that.
Beechnut has a new gum, Beechnut Fancy Fruit.
Fancy that.
Fancy Fruit hangs on to flavor. What flavor? Fancy flavor.
Fancy what?
Fancy Fruit by Beechnut. What nut?
By Beechnut.
By gum.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off for the fantastic space age shock show, The Wizard of Mars, starring John Carradine. The Wizard of Mars. Never before in the history of motion picture technology has there been anything like the frightening new dimension of ultra depth. It's not 3D, it's new. The most thrilling movie experience of all time. The Wizard of Mars dares you to remain seated as gigantic fireballs crash out of the screen and explode over your head. The Wizard of Mars double dares you to remain in the theater as a Martian electrical storm crashes into the audience. The Wizard of Mars triple dares you to retain control of your mind as telepathic creatures attack your brain, crash diving into a thundering time storm to experience the most incredible screen journey ever taken. A beautiful girl and 3 desperate men against the fury of Mars, the alien beauty of the Martian landscape, and the glistening subterranean Martian canals as you ride the rapids into the fiery depths of the Martian underworld. Journey through the Valley of Fire at the center of the Red Planet. Enter, if you dare, the haunted Martian city of the dead. Beware of the ghost-like creatures who refuse to die. Encounter the Colossus of the universe, the mighty Wizard of Mars, conqueror of 1,000 worlds, master of the stars. Witness a battle with a gigantic spiked pendulum of death at the center of time. See the Holocaust as 2 great universal forces destroy the mighty Martian time dome. Don't miss The Wizard of Mars, starring John Carradine as the Wizard, with this great cast at a specially equipped theater or drive-in ultra depth, color by Deluxe.
Wizard of Mars, starring John Carradine, because he's in need of a belt or two. Yeah, that would have been his raging alcoholic period, which was most of his life. So, ooh, I know, that wasn't very nice, but truth isn't pretty sometimes. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? Anywho, also wanted to mention during the live streams, I always like to give a big shout out to our Patreon members. So a tip of the cap to Adrian Carpio, Caval, Kevin R. Smith, Talzak, Sean O'Donnell, Herman Lutman, Gustavo Cavalho, Matt Weiss, Kevin King, Game Cat, RPG Munch, Tier 2 DM, Pete Strakulich, Dan Webb, and Testy Trekkie, Agile Monk, and the Madman. Thank you very kindly for continuing your support by being members of the Gaming Gang Patreon. Kevin King says, when that movie came out, there was some guy saying Buster Crabbe was so much better, Hollywood can't write anymore. Yeah. What, you thought I was going to share like a Wizard of Oz sort of trailer with the... No. That'd have been too easy and probably set off copyright violations. So now I tracked down a 1965 science fiction movie that is loosely based on the Wizard of Oz. So there you have it. Yes, very nice. Very nice. Anywho, I gotta fix something here. Take care of that real quickly. So tonight, we're going to dive on in. We're going to take a first look at Oz, a fantasy role-playing setting from Andrew Kolb and Andrews McMeel Publishing. This 216-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $34.99. You can grab the PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. I will also mention that this is not a review copy. This was not sent to me by Andrews McMeel Publishing. One of our constant viewers wanted me to review the trio of Andrew Kolb with a B releases. So we've taken a look at the Neverland. Now we're going to take a look at Oz, and then we will also take a look at Wonderland. In the not too distant future, I'll be sharing a first look video, or at least sharing a review of it. So stay tuned for that. Also, I got Oz through Amazon. So I did not pay $34.99 for it. It was actually, was it 21 and change? So keep that in mind. You can pick it up for about $22 in the US by way of Amazon. And lucked out, it was not all beaten to hell. Like a lot of books arrived from Amazon. So thankfully, we've got that. So a couple other things to mention. We are not going to take a peek at each and every page of this book, but I do want to give you a good feel for what you're going to find inside. And also keep in mind, this is an adventure setting for 5e, so there will be spoilers ahead. So if you are a player and your game master has picked up Oz, maybe they just haven't started running it yet, maybe they're talking about picking this up, keep in mind, even though I have not taken a peek inside this, there are going to be some spoilers ahead, I can guarantee. All right, let's take a look at the back here. Adventure is just a trip down a yellow brick road. The multi-talented author and illustrator of Neverland returns with another beautiful RPG setting book in Oz, a fantasy role-playing setting. While many have traveled with Dorothy Gale to the world of Oz, there is so much more to explore. But know this, there is more to the land and its inhabitants than the rumors might suggest. Appearances can be deceiving, and like any good metalsmith will tell you, the only way to tell a gold bar from a yellow brick is to hit it with a hammer. So begins Andrew Kolb's Oz, a fantasy role-playing setting, using a 5th edition compatible point crawl system. Players can explore an urban setting full of secrets to discover via underground trains and a monorail that loops around all 4 districts of Oz. With different neighborhoods to explore, factions to join, and questions to ask, what happened to the slippers anyway? Players can escape to the land over the rainbow for hours on end. Somewhere. No, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Just teasing you. It's like I'm not going to sing Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. All right, so here we've got the wondrous land of Oz. So as far as Neverland went, that was pretty much wilderness adventuring. Here, we are going to dive on into more of an urban setting. And then I would take a guess, as far as Wonderland, it's going to be all over the place. Anyway, as I had mentioned, one of our constant viewers did provide me with the funds to pick up the 3 Andrew Kolb 5e releases. So they want to stay anonymous, so I will respect that decision. And sadly enough, once again, I see that the font is tiny. Just like in Neverland. I don't know. For one, this book is a little bit shorter than a standard 8.5 by 11. So maybe if they went with a little larger size, we wouldn't have this tiny font. But we do have the world here. Many have heard of Oz as a land beyond the rainbow and forever out of reach. A whimsical place where talking animals, metal men, and witches on brooms are commonplace. They believe it to be nothing more than an ideal setting for a bedtime story, the sort of place one thinks about as they fall asleep at night and dream of a better tomorrow. But what if it wasn't a dreamland? What if Oz was real? Dun, dun, dun. Right, so we get what's going on. And then, of course, I would think it's probably going to be pretty obvious that this is based upon the series of Oz books by L. Frank Baum. Not only, isn't the title of the book The Wonderful Wizard of Oz? I'll be honest, I never read it as a kid. So we have Ozma, there's Glinda, the Scarecrow, Dorothy and Toto, Jack Pumpkinhead, he comes later, the Patchwork Girl. I'm just taking a look to see the characters that I recognize. Of course, we've got Tin Woodman, Cowardly Lion, TikTok. Yes, I've heard TikTok. So we got our different factions. We've got a timeline of Oz. Themes and expansion. Inspired by the original books, the Land of Oz was designed with a few key themes in mind. First, impressions are important, but a theme that can be explored is the inaccuracy of quick judgments and assumptions. Additionally, the book explores a black and white worldview versus shades of gray. What makes someone wicked and what makes them wonderful? Is it a universal truth? Can they change? Can such a binary outlook allow for personalities to exist in between? All questions to explore and consider when changing or expanding upon what's included here. Sounds interesting. So Chris Leonard had asked, what is the MSRP on the pocket size? I assume he's asking for the Starfinder 2nd edition core rules. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I know the MSRP on the Alien Core Pocket Edition is $29.99. I know the Starfinder 2nd Edition Core Rulebook has a higher page count than Alien Core, so I'm going to guess it's probably $39.99. That's just a wild guess, though. Chris also points out, looks neat, but 5e mechanics is a no-go for them. Wish the creator had his own rules. I would disagree with you on that. I'm not saying that 5e mechanics are a no-go for you is wrong. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that I guarantee using the 5e mechanics is putting this book, and has put this book, because this isn't brand new, this has been out for a while, has put this book in far more people's hands than if they were going to be buying a game that had its own set of mechanics. Because there is an Oz role-playing game out there. I don't know if it's still in print, but I could have swore there is an Oz role-playing game that was released within the last 5 years. Like there's a player book, as well as, say, like a Game Master guide. So Chris asked, but is it 5e or 5.5? No, it's 5e because this has been out for a few years. So this came out prior to new Dungeons and Dragons. So it would be for 5e. So we're getting some background information about Oz. Crime and punishment, lodging, living expenses, fame and Toto. A group of adventurers are bound to make waves and get noticed for their antics. This sort of notoriety spreads between neighborhood as word travels fast along the yellow brick roads. This fame can be the result. Yeah, okay. For a second, I was like, did I miss a word here? No, this fame can be the result of any significant event. I believe it's missing an of. This fame can be the result of any significant event, be it positive, negative, or somewhere in between, and is measured on a scale of 1 to 10. What's called a tomfoolery total, or Toto for short. Aha, so it's got nothing to do with the dog. Tessie Trekkie says there are at least 4 Oz role-playing games on the shelf behind them, excluding this one. Well, keep in mind, this is a setting. But this is not a role-playing game in itself. And if memory serves, I believe all of L. Frank Baum's books are now public domain. I think all of Oz is public domain. I could be wrong. So, talking about neighborhoods, chase sequences, map making. Says many locations and landmarks have been mapped, but there are times when more detail is required. The author has found that mapping buildings and streets are the most common. The following can be used for other structures like ruins and paths, like a network of tunnels or sewers, for example. So it looks like just a way to quickly put together something. Okay. Intermissions. Hey, is it a brief intermission? Chris Leitner points out Oz Dark and Terrible is a tabletop role-playing game setting based on L. Frank Baum's universe, featuring a reimagined, grittier Land of Oz. That might be the one that I was thinking of that had come out probably most recently. Here we've got our bestiary. Ooh, I guess I should say our cast. Oz is a highly social place. Getting to know its inhabitants is as important for survival as understanding the various districts and neighborhoods. Descriptions and motives have been included for many of the non-player characters, creatures, and factions that can be found around Oz. With this comes a few caveats. For one, no group is a monolith, and so the descriptions, traits, skills are a starting point and not an absolute. A faction of very serious winged monkeys could break off from the rest of the flock, or a loon might loathe wrestling. This contrast of character can make Oz feel more alive and nuanced. So, taking a look at some of the different animals, and it looks as if they are just kind of put into kind of a category. So here it's not necessarily a bear. It is a large carnivore. That's a stat block there. Small animals, medium animals, swarm animals. There's Dorothy, Gale, and Toto. All right, let's see. There we go. Jack Pumpkinhead. Good old Jack Pumpkinhead. He's reliable, a little goofy, and as innocent as he is tall. Jack began as an object created by Ozma, and Mombi used the powder of life to animate him. Mombi was trying to scare Ozma, then Tip, and Tip was upset at the prank. Jack just wanted everyone to get along, but he didn't have any say in the matter. An extension of Jack's animation is the power of his pumpkin seeds. While the number of seeds in his head directly correlates to his intelligence, they also grant sentience to vegetation. Plant one of Jack's pumpkin seeds into an apple, flower, or old oak tree. It will grow limbs and come to life. It is a meat person or other living non-plant creature eats one of the seeds. The results are quite different. Ingesting a seed will grant the consumer a short intelligence boost and make their thoughts, actions suggestible to Jack's influence. He is not entirely aware of this, but the more seeds one ingests, the more influence he has on them. I don't understand, but I trust you completely. So, personality traits: enthusiastic and motivated, inquisitive but forgetful, cautious but clumsy, enjoys writing and drawing, always happy to lend a hand, wants to make friends and see the world. His ideals: friendship, the true mark of a life well lived, is the relationships made along the way. So he has his bonds made by Ozma, brought to life by Mombi, good friend of the Scarecrow, and loves anyone he meets. Flaws: he's extremely gullible. Other proficiencies: excellent knowledge of clay, rock, and soil, can communicate with plants, building, construction, and engineering. Wicked and wonderful leader, approachable, one of a kind, open-minded, tall. Wonder if that's if he becomes like leader of a faction or something. Mark Edwards has joined us tonight. Good to see you. Welcome aboard. Here you go. Here's Mombi. Mombi's fall from power is known across Oz. The sorceress claimed her skills were unmatched, but was quietly dethroned by Lacosta as the Witch of the North. Angry and embarrassed, Mombi lashed out and kidnapped Ozma, the newly born child and future ruler of Oz. She disguised the princess and raised her as a servant boy named Tip for many years. Ozma, along with Jack Pumpkinhead, escaped Mombi after threat of petrification. If you didn't know, and funny enough, as I pointed out, I've never read any of the Oz books, but I know a little bit about them. Dorothy is not really the main character throughout the series. I thought Ozma is. Oh, speaking of, she's the Princess of Oz, Child Queen, Ozma Tipperatus I, the Princess of Oz, daughter of King Pastoria, human, deceased, and Queen Lurline, fairy, alive. The queen returned to her rainbow realm after Ozma was kidnapped and raised by the sorceress Mombi. The princess was enchanted to live under the guise of a servant boy named Tip. It was during her time living as Tip that Oscar Diggs arrived in Oz and claimed the throne as the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Her time living in fear under the jealous and cruel Mombi has deeply impacted Ozma's outlook toward rulership. Distrustful of most magic users, Ozma's first act was to use her newly manifested fairy powers to strip Mombi of her magic. Her second act was a decree that magic use was prohibited unless granted royal permission. Some say she has a secret order of knights to enact her will and punish those who defy her. Others suggest she is researching mass magic control. Whether they're rumors or all true, it's common knowledge that Ozma intends to never see a family separated or harmed by reckless magic again. Troy Cornelson's popped on in to chat. Welcome back. So TikTok is another character from the books. I know that. In fact, wasn't it the Disney movie, is it Return to Oz? That scared the shit out of like millions of kids? Because it's kind of a dark sequel to The Wizard of Oz. A little bookmark there. All right. So actually quite a few. entries in the cast. The Land of Oz is a character in its own right. The neighborhoods are as impacted by power and influence as the communities within. It can be whimsical and inviting while at the same time concealing dark secrets and mysteries. Getting to know Oz is like getting to know a celebrity. There's a very real risk that expectations will not match reality. Tessie Trekkie says, the interesting idea is that Ozma could be played as both wonderful or wicked with that description. A benevolent ruler or an authoritarian dictator. Bum, bum. All right, so we've got some quick reference areas. So we've got the Overground, the Emerald Citadel, Lake Quad, the Underground, Emerald View, Northwatch, Humperdinck Plaza, Loonville, the Great Library Ruins, Feathertown, Goo Goo Park, Forest of Winged Monkeys, the Amethyst Tower. Those are all in Emerald Center. We've got the Munchkin District. We have the Quadling District. And then we've got the Winky District. Well. Okay, so green is the Emerald Center, of course, right? So then blue is the Munchkin District. Red is the Quadling District. Yellow is the Winky District. Looks like we got one more, and it is... Did I miss the color somehow? Oh, right here. It's the Gillikin District from Gillikin's Island. Oh! So we've got the Emerald Citadel. And then we have the key locations here. Trying to remember who had mentioned that this is supposed to have kind of a dieselpunk vibe. I haven't encountered that yet, but it is very, very possible. We've got the Diamond Palace, home of Lonesome Duck, the only duck in Oz. Diamond Palace provides anything its residents may need, from a warm shelter to a battle arena and everything in between. The palace requires one of the owners to be present at all times, and because Lonesome Duck is the only owner, they cannot leave. Duck is happy in their home, but would prefer to share such a wonderful treasure with others, maybe even a partner. Well, so it looks as if we have different breakdowns of the underground. So I guess there's a subway that connects. Well, yeah, I guess there is a subway because there's also a monorail. I think the monorail obviously would be above ground, but that's kind of cool. So we have random encounters, area effects, creatures, NPCs, the mood of those NPCs, the status of those NPCs, what guild they might belong to, secret organizations. I'll tell you what, this is packed with content. Certainly is. And outside of the stat blocks, I'm sure that you could pretty much utilize this with just about any fantasy role-playing game outside of, just only being able to use 5e. There's the Ruby Palace. First impressions. Towering ruby spires loom over a hill of dense and thorny rose bushes. It's a mixture of welcoming beauty and subtle danger. Well. So lots of locales here. The Truth Pond. The Truth Pond can break any enchantment, but does so at a price of eternal honesty. The power was so dangerous that Ozma and her wardens erected a number of barriers to keep it secure. Now the pond goes mostly unused, except under extreme judicial circumstances. Aha. All right, so we got resources. The following chapter includes the Relics of Oz, maps, and tables to help make any adventure in Oz feel robust and varied. Hopefully, this inspires further development and gives insight into the nooks and crannies of this expansive land. Whether asking big questions like, who is responsible? Something smaller like, what are they talking about? There should be a kernel of an answer for the GM to nurture. Ah, the slippers. So what did happen to the slippers? Their appearance changes depending on who wears them, but little is understood beyond that. Their power is still unknown. The slippers exist in a mutable state and can change appearance/material depending on a number of factors: who first sees them, who wears them, where they're worn, etc. They almost always appear as precious metals or gemstones, but have been known to appear mundane or worn out as a defense mechanism. How to use. Both slippers must be worn at the same time to work. Clicking the heels and tapping the toes produce different magic, but very little is documented on the matter. The shoes subtly change size to be a perfect fit for whoever's holding or wishes to wear them. Protects the wearer from any ground danger or exhaustion caused by walking. Slippers can only be removed by the wearer or after death. Pete Strakulich is joining us tonight. Good to see you. I'll be very honest. Now, I have not really delved too deeply into Neverland yet. But comparing the two, this really does feel like there's so much more in it. Okay, so here we've got a bunch of different tables. This is one of the reasons why I'm saying that this comes across as being something that could be utilized with a lot more than just Dungeons and Dragons. All right, so is this the kind of the art? Yeah, the sketchbook. Here we go. So as far as gaming content, 200 pages. If you're curious about the production quality, paper stock's really nice. Very, very nice. It is a stitch binding as well. I already saw it. It's got a single bookmark. Only drawback is, damn, that font is small. Pete Strakulich says Chessex makes some nice ruby glitter dice that would match the ruby slippers. They would definitely use them for this. All right. So are these pre-gens? I think they are. I think these are pre-gen characters if you want to use them. Angry Turtle, Clockwork Boxer, Coal Mine Canary, Gentle Blacksmith, Magic Bones, the Ringmaster, and these are perforated so you could pull them out. And we got some quick references also perforated, names, and a map. So it looks like that is a map of the 5 districts there. And also the same. So I'm wondering, is this supposed to be the player map? Very possible. Very possible. Cool. All right. So once again, this is Oz, a fantasy role-playing setting from author Andrew Kolb and Andrews McMeel Publishing. This has been out for a while. This has been out for a few years. And the 216-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $34.99. Once again, by way of a very kind, constant viewer, I was able to purchase this through Amazon for I want to say it was 21 and change, maybe 22 and change. So quite a bit less than the $34.99 MSRP. Now, if you'd be looking to pick this up in PDF, you can do so over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. Very nice. All right. I also mentioned as a bonus, we are going to be taking a peek at these Baldur's Gate treasure packs. I have 5 of them from Sirius Dice, and Sirius as in like Sirius XM. That you can't be serious, right? So I've got 5 of these, and I guess overall there are 40 different dice, 21 different coins, and they are metal coins, I guess, and 9 different embroidered dice bags. And of course, this is just a complete blind draw. So I do want to mention the fine folks over at Sirius Dice were kind enough to send these along. You can check out the treasure packs as well as all these other different kinds of dice from Sirius Dice over at SiriousDice.com. Of course, I will have the link in the show notes, and I'll also have the link in the post over on thegaminggang.com for today's live stream. So these carry an MSRP of $12.99. Let's take a peek and see what we've got. Oh, and of course, before I forget, I will have a review of Oz in the future. So stay tuned for that. Okay. See what we've got here. Here's the bag. That's kind of cool. I like that. And it's got a little drawstring here. That's kind of cool. That is a very large 20-sided die. Let's see if I've got a standard size die down here. I should. Yep. All right. That is a standard size 20-sided die. So that's kind of cool. It's Karlach. And it's got kind of a fiery. And then the coin. Looks like the coin is Karlach as well. It is. There you go. So I would guess that these all come together like that, which kind of throws me off a little bit. Well, maybe it's a different die. Maybe the bag and the coin end up the same. So that is the first. Nice coin, I should say. All right, here's the next one. What do we got? Is that a spell? Is that a spell symbol? But even on the drawstring, it says Baldur's Gate. So are we going to get some sort of a blue die with this? Yes, we are. And it's got something inside. So it's not just blue plastic. And then this is Gale. So that's this one. Gotta say, nice, cool bag here. It's not very large. So you'd really be putting your set of standard dice in here. So like 4 6-siders, a couple of 10s, your 8, your 4, your 12, your 20, Fit that big one in there. And I think that would probably be taking up your space as far as those went. But still, yeah, cool bag. Decent thickness, too. This isn't real cheap. So I like that. See what else we got. All right, so this one just says Baldur's Gate. Actually, that's my favorite so far. All right, and then the coin we're going to get is Halcyon. And, ooh, it's rare. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see what this is. So that is a rare, kind of a, almost like a gray-green. And it also has like red shot through it, like, well, almost like a burgundy shot through it. I will point out it's not exactly the easiest to read. I mean, I can see that's a 16, that's a 6. Yeah, I guess it's fine. You know, lighting is a little different down here too than what you would have sitting at your game table. So that is one of the rares. So kind of interesting that it says that on the bag for the die. And of course, this is, I wouldn't say that's like black. It's more of a, like a really dark charcoal. Almost has a little bit of a blue to it. We've got that as well. We got two more. See what we got with this. Another Baldur's Gate. Okay. Are we going to get another rare? Oh, wow, that's a cool coin. That's way different than the other ones. It's a Mind Flayer. So we've got that on the back. So yeah, that's quite a bit different. I wonder if there's a rarity to the coins here, because that's how the other coins have been so far. Like so. So, all right, Pete Straklich is rocking on out. Time to for him to jump on into some Stenard. We'll see you next time, PD. I said Pete, but it's not. It's Draculich, really. Right? Because it's Pete's Draculich. Yeah, but I like that. That's cool. I'm digging that. And I can easily give one of these to my nephew Cameron, because he's played Baldur's Gate. Let's see what we've got with the last one. Oh, you know what? We didn't look at the die, did we? We did not. It is also that rare green one. The one that we had with this bag too. Same one. That's cool. And then, like I said, I kind of get the feeling that this coin might be a rare, one of the rares. All right. And our final package. This one's got blue with Baldur's Gate on it. So I was going to say, I could see giving one to my nephew, one to Elliot, and then, of course, one of the Baldur's Gates for me, seeing that the three of us have played. All right, so that is the die there. It's kind of cool. And the 20 also has a little symbol on it. I didn't take a peek. I will guess that they're going to be different. See what we've got on. Yep, they are. They are different. So this is a bear. It's a little bear face And then this looks like it's a flower. And as you can see, well, maybe you can't see, there's like a little bit of a gold accent inside it that on some of the faces you can see. That's pretty nice too. And the coin is Minthara. Nice. So yeah, I think this is maybe this is a special coin. All right. So once again, these are the Baldur's Gate treasure packs from Sirius Dice. They do carry an MSRP of $12.95, or not 95, 99 cents. And they are available now. So you can pick them up right now. Very cool. All right. And a big thank you to Sirius Dice for sending along these 5 samples for us to take a peek at. Very cool. I like the bags. I think the bags are pretty cool. I like the coins, the dice. Dice are, although the rare green one looks like it's a little more difficult to make out. But yeah, kind of cool. Kind of cool. Once again, there's like 40 different D20s, 21 different metal coins, and 9 different embroidered bags. Yes, it's important to keep in mind, these bags are embroidered. So very nice. All righty. So that is it for tonight's show. And once again, if you were not aware, starting on Tuesday, we are going to simply cover the latest tabletop role-playing game news on the Gaming Gang Dispatch, and then probably engage in a little bit of chat, talk about what's happening, in the hobby, things like that for a little bit. So live streams aren't going anywhere, but the live first looks are coming to an end, at least for the foreseeable future. So the format's going to change a little bit. It's not going to change a ton outside of not getting the first looks. But the reality is, I know there are a lot of people out there who catch the show who they're just hanging out because they like, to hang out with the folks in chat, or they like to get the latest news in that. And a lot of times the stuff we take a first look at, neither here nor there for them. So we'll kind of cut that out. I will still be sharing other videos though. So you'll still have reviews and first looks. They're just going to be standalone videos, not part of the live stream. All right. So if you're watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, tip of the cap to you, because not only were you keeping me company, you were also keeping each other company as I was sharing the news and flipping on through Oz and taking a look at the treasure packs from Sirius Dice. But of course, I know a lot of folks out there, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you for taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the Gaming Gang channel. It is vastly appreciated. Everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods, and have a great weekend ahead. Of course, I will be back on Tuesday. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, not only ring that bell, but also select all notifications. That way you will be informed not only when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I share other videos, such as my reviews and first looks. So you'll never miss any of the videos. All righty. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, I certainly hope each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.